everyone, if you remember from yesterday, we were talking about the Bum Fresh range and all the different products that they had. So here we go. Hot Bum Fresh, warms your bottom as you wipe. Lady Bum Fresh, specially soft wipes for ladies' bottoms. Minty Bum Fresh, leaves your bottom with a cool minty aroma. Yes. And Raj took a deep breath. My bottom has come up all, well, purple. Purple? Said Joe with a shocked laugh. This is a very serious matter, replied Raj. He looked up suddenly. 1 copy of the Daily Mail and a packet of Rolos. That'll be 85p. Be careful with those Rolos on your dentures, Mr. Little. He waited for the pensioner to leave the shop. Ding went the bell on the door. I didn't see him there. He must have been lurking behind the quavers, said Raj, a little shaken at what the pensioner might have heard. You are joking, aren't you, Raj? Said Joe with a quizzical smile. I am deadly serious, Joe, said Raj gravely. Show me then, said Joe. I can't show you my bottom, Joe. We've only just met, exclaimed Raj. But let me draw you a simple graph. A graph? Asked Joe. Be patient, Joe. As the boy looked on, Raj grabbed some paper and pens and drew this simple graph. And then we've got a graph, the graph of purpleness. So it says, aubergine, purple paint, Purple Rain by Prince, Purple Heart Medal, Klingon Blood, and Raj's bottom. So Raj's bottom is this one here. Wow, that is purple, said Joe, studying the graph. Is it painful? It is a little sore. Have you seen a doctor? Asked Joe. Yes, and he said he'd seen hundreds of people in the local area with brightly coloured bottoms. Oh no, said Joe. Maybe I'll have to have a bum transplant. Joe couldn't help but laugh. A bum transplant? Yes, this isn't a laughing matter, Joe, said Raj. There was hurt in his eyes that his bottom had become the subject of mockery. No, sorry, said Joe, still giggling. I think I will stop using your dad's new Bum Fresh wipes and go back to the shiny white my wife used to buy. I'm sure it isn't the bum wipes, said Joe. What else could it be? Look, Raj, I'd better go, Joe said. I've invited my girlfriend over later. Ooh, girlfriend is it now? The pretty girl you came in with when I sold you the ice lollies? Said the newsagent brightly. Yes, that's her, said Joe shyly. Well, I don't know if she really is my girlfriend, but we've been spending lots of time together. Well, have a lovely evening. Thanks. Arriving at the door, Joe turned back to the newsagent. He couldn't help himself. Oh, by the way, Raj, good luck with the bum transplant. Thank you, my friend. I hope they find one big enough. Joe laughed. Out of my shop, out, out, said Raj. Ding. Cheeky boy, muttered the newsagent with a smile as he rearranged his curly-whirlies. Chapter 20. A beach ball rolled in hair. Bumfresh Towers pulsated with music. Coloured lights spun in every room. Hundreds of people swarmed around the house. This was a party that was going to get complaints about the noise. From people in Sweden. Joe had no idea that there was a party at the house tonight. Dad hadn't mentioned anything at breakfast, and Joe had invited Lauren over for dinner. As it was a Friday night, they could stay up late too. It was going to be perfect. Maybe tonight they might even kiss. Sorry, I had no idea about all this, said Joe as they approached the giant stone steps at the front of the house. It's cool. I love a party, replied Lauren. As darkness fell and strangers tumbled out of the house clutching bottles of champagne, Joe took Lauren's hand and led her through the huge oak front door. Wow, this is some house, shouted Lauren over the music. What? Said Joe. Lauren put her mouth to Joe's ear so that she could be heard. I said, wow, this is some house. But Joe still couldn't really hear. Feeling the heat of her breath so close to him was so exhilarating, he stopped listening for a moment. Thank you, shouted Joe back into Lauren's ear. Her skin smelt sweet, like honey. Joe searched all over the house for his dad. It was impossible to find him. Every room was oozing with people. Joe didn't recognise a single one of them. Who on earth were they all? Guzzling cocktails and gobbling finger food like there was no tomorrow. Being short, Joe really found it hard to see over them. His dad wasn't in the snooker room. He wasn't in the dining room. He wasn't in the massage room. He wasn't in the library. He wasn't in the other dining room. He wasn't in his bedroom. He wasn't in the reptile house. "Let's try the pool room," shouted Joe in Lauren's ear. "You've got a pool? Cool," she shouted back. They passed a woman bent over, vomiting by the sauna, as a man, presumably her boyfriend, patted the small of her back supportively. Some party guests had either dived or fallen into the pool and were bobbing around in the water. Joe enjoyed swimming, and the thought that none of these people looked like they would get out of the pool if they needed a wee clouded his mind. Just then, he spotted his dad, wearing just a pair of swimming trunks and his curly afro toupee, and dancing to a completely different song that the one was playing. Covering the wall behind him was a vast mural of a strangely muscle-bound version of himself reclining. The real Mr. Spud boogied baldly in front of it, looking more like a beach ball that had been rolled in hair. "What's going on, Dad?" Joe shouted, half because the music was so loud and half because he was angry his dad hadn't told him anything about the party. "Who are all these people? Your friends?" "Oh no, I hired them in. £500 each, partyguests.com. "What's the party for, Dad?" "Well, I knew you would be so pleased to know that Sapphire and I have got engaged," shouted Mr. Spud. "What?" said Joe, not able to distinguish his shock. "It's great news, isn't it?" Dad yelled. Still the music boom, boom, boomed. There's a picture of his dad there dancing away. Joe didn't want to believe it. Did the hand model really have to be his new mum? "I asked her yesterday and she said no, but then I asked her again today and gave her a great big diamond ring and she said yes." "Congratulations, Mr. Spud," said Lauren. "So you must be a friend of my son's from school," said Mr. Spud, his words tumbling out clumsily. "That's right, Mr. Spud," replied Lauren. "Call me Len, please," said Mr. Spud with a smile. "And you must meet Sapphire." "Sapphire!" he shouted. Sapphire tottered over in her shocking yellow high heels and even more shocking yellow mini dress. "Would you show Joe's friend the engagement ring, my gorgeous lady love of all time?" 20 million quid, just for the diamond. Joe spied the diamond on his soon-to-be stepmother's finger. It was the size of a small bungalow. Her left arm was dangling lower than the right with the weight of it. Oh, it's so heavy I can't lift my hand, but if you bend down you could see it," said Sapphire. Lauren stepped closer to get a better look. "Haven't I seen you somewhere before?" Sapphire asked. Mr. Spud leapt in. "No, you haven't, my one true love." "Yes, I have," said Sapphire. "No, my angel cake." "Oh, my goodness, I know where I seen ya." "I said stop it, my chocolate sprinkled princess," said Mr. Spud. "You done that ad for Pot Noodle," Sapphire explained. Joe turned to Lauren, who looked at the floor. "It's well good, you know the one, Joe," continued Sapphire, "for the new sweet and sour flavour. The one where she has to do karate to stop people from nicking it." "You are an actress," spluttered Joe. The advert was coming back into focus in his mind. Her hair was a different colour, and she wasn't wearing an all-in-one yellow catsuit, but it was Lauren all right. "I better go," said Lauren. "And did you lie about having a boyfriend too?" demanded Joe. "Goodbye, Joe," said Lauren, before weaving past the guests in the pool room as she ran off. "Lauren!" shouted Joe after her. "Let her go, son," said Mr. Spud sadly. But Joe raced after her and caught up with her just as she reached the stone steps. He grabbed her arm harder than he'd anticipated and she turned around in pain. "Ow!" "Why did you lie to me?" Joe stammered. "Just forget it, Joe," said Lauren. She suddenly seemed a different person. Her voice was more posh now and her face less kind. The twinkle in her eye had definitely gone and the glow around her had turned into a shadow. "Don't want to know." "Don't want to know what?" "Look, if you must know, your dad saw me on that pot noodle advert and called my agent, said you were unhappy at school and paid me to be your friend. It was all fine until you tried to kiss me." She skipped down the steps and ran off down the long drive. Joe watched her for a few moments before the pain in his heart was so great he had to bend over to stop it. He fell to his knees. A party guest stepped over him. Joe didn't even look up. He felt he was so sad that he was never going to be able to get up again. Oh no, poor Joe. We'll wait and see tomorrow what happens to him. Have a good day. Bye.